preach the gospel to everybody, so people don't.
Whoever takes it, takes it. Whoever doesn't, you can't get mad at it.
Yeah, exactly. And we're not mad at people, and we don't hate them, and because we realize we can't save anybody from hell. Only God can do that. Jesus, the only one. He is God in the flesh. And so we believe that, we trust that He's going to save people. And so that's why we go with confidence in Him only, not in us. Because I'd mess it up if I tried to save anybody, right? If I can't, So I can't. But that's the idea. So if people have sinned against God by lying, theft, blasphemy, lust, adultery, fornication, all that stuff, not even apart from LGBTQ, all of that stuff, even apart from that, broken the 10 Commandments, then you'd be headed for hell. But Jesus Christ died on the cross 2,000 years ago, was buried and rose again on the third day. And that's our hope. As Christians, that's our hope that we share with people. And not only we are commanded to do it, that's one thing, but we're grateful that we've been saved and we know it. And that's why we go out to give other people that opportunity to say, hey, here's Jesus. And like you agree, do with what you will. We can't drag you into heaven kicking and screaming, because it'd be just that. They'd be like, no, F God, or whatever, So God has to make you willing. He has to actually change your mind. So you go, yes, Lord.
I saw another pamphlet. Can I see the other pamphlet?
Oh, yeah. This one was really good here. Yeah, it's a little bit longer, but I appreciate it. Read on that and open your Bible, New and Old Testament, and reference those. It's good stuff.
What was your name?
John.
John?
What was your name?
Rivka.
Rivka.
Yes.
Nice to meet you. Thank you for taking the time. So.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Be safe.
All right, you too. God bless you.
Love thy neighbor.
That's not my sign. And it's very loving. How is it not loving thy neighbor? You never worked. How is that unloving? Nothing's wrong with gay people. Where did it say gay people are bad? Yeah, they're talking about sin, not the people. They're not talking about anybody. Well, it doesn't matter how anybody identifies themselves. There's right and wrong, there's truth. God declares what the truth is. God declares what right and wrong is. Every morals, all the morals of the whole world.
Did that answer all your questions, or just hanging out? Yeah, that's fine. I appreciate you being here, yeah.
No matter how you feel, entertaining a certain sin doesn't mean it's right. If it feels good, do it. No. God declares if something's right or wrong. Anyone who begins contrary to God's ways are wrong and are in sin, and it doesn't matter what you identify in or not. It depends on if you're in sin. Anyone who lies, does it lie on here?
Yeah, right.
The Bible says all liars will have their part in the lake of fire. Anyone who tells lies without forgiveness is going to end up in hell or in the lake of fire. And it doesn't matter. Greed, lust, porn, fornication. Those in heterosexual, premarital sex are in fornication. No fornicator, the Bible says, will inherit God's kingdom. So the warning isn't against a person.
Yeah, there's not real specifics in the Bible, but it kind of makes sense when you think about it. Even though the Bible says all liars will have their part in the lake of fire, that is hell. But you know that murderers are going to have a worse place in hell than people that are just like. What's that?
I said you high-key look like an inbred trash. So your parents got married when they were like 16.
Ah, I see. Okay. Have a great day. No, but yeah, you think about the way our laws are. Like if I parked in the wrong spot downtown and got a parking ticket, I probably have to pay like $30 fine. If I went downtown and pulled out a gun and shot somebody in the head and killed them, I'd get a worse punishment, right?
Yeah, but that's like human rules.
Yeah, and you know where those came from? The Bible, right? That's where they came from. Yeah, all our Judeo Christian values and laws came from the Bible. Now, there's some things like, well, you have to do this when you vote. You have to put your ballot in the box or whatever. Those are some pretty periphery things that you might have a hard time finding a moral component to them. If you dug a little bit, you might be able, that keeps you from cheating on your ballot, which is immoral or whatever. But that's where our laws came from, as Judeo Christian principles from the Bible. That you shall not murder, shall not lie, steal, blaspheme, lust. And you know, I don't know if you realize it, but the first of the 4 commandments are vertical. Like,
Oh, yes!
have no other gods before me. Make no graven image, nor bow down to it or worship it.
You guys should follow.
Do not take the name of the Lord your God in vain. 4th is keep the Sabbath holy. And then the rest of them, the other 6, are horizontal. They're man to man, right? 5 is honor your father and mother. 6 is you shall not commit murder. 7, you shall not commit adultery. 8 is you shall not steal. 9, you shall not bear false witness or lie. 10 is you shall not covet. So those are horizontal. So that's the idea. But that's the like we were talking about, source of truth. You know, how do you say something's right or wrong? You know, is running
Bad or doesn't.
right. Well, you know, and pedophilia could feel really good to the pedophile that's raping the kid or whatever, or the rapist that's raping the woman. It could feel really good to him. Is it right? Most people would say no, it's wrong. Except for rapists, they would say yeah, it was really good. You know what I mean? So you can't go by feelings, right?
Feelings of a lot of people. You're saying, like, most people say that it's bad, so the feelings of the majority of people that you crave morality. Because then the people, like, even if they're not religious, they're going to be, like, teaching that to other people.
So are you trying to say that you think truth should be by consensus then? Like if people just vote, we're going to vote that everyone should shave their cat if they have a cat. There should be no long-haired cats allowed in the city of Eugene. I'm just making up stuff.
Yeah.
But, you know, so should that be a thing just because people have voted? The people that, I'm not shaving my cat. No, they voted. It's immoral to have a cat with long hair. You got to have short-haired cats only, or whatever it would be. Well, dogs have to have their toenails trimmed. You know, you must have this. So we're going to, because we voted on it, and because it's a majority, then. So
For that, it's like, if it's harming the animal, then it's like, oh, you should probably do that. Like, oh, you don't want them to feel bad.
well, and there's a whole thing about treatment of animals that the Bible actually talks about caring for animals and being, you know, like not being cruel to them, even though we eat most of them, you know.
Yeah.
But yet being good stewards and not being cruel, and you have to wonder, you know, like people that are serial killers, you find out later, oh, they tortured cats and dogs and puppies and whatnot when they were kids for fun.
Yeah.
And which actually a lot of kids do stuff like that. When I was a kid, I was kind of mean to some animals, and I used to shoot little birds with my BB gun and stuff like that, you know, like just because it was fun. And then one day, I was in my teens, I just went, why am I killing little birds? I'm not eating them. I'm just killing them for fun. And I went, I'm not going to do this anymore. So something changed. That was really interesting.
I don't know. I seem, from my experience, I feel like children are pretty horrible people, and they have to learn to not be horrible people.
Well, yeah, and that's the Christian worldview. Is as we recognize it, we see it played out. You don't have to teach kids to steal or punch their sister or lie to their mom. They just naturally do. You have to teach them, hey, that's wrong, Johnny. If you do that again, you're going to get a spanking. And they do it again, whack, whack, whack. They get a spanking, you know, and they learn, oh, there's punishment for wrongdoing. And that's what our legal system is. It's just not, oh, it's wrong to go 85 on the freeway. No, there's a ticket. You get blue and red lights, and then you get a ticket. You know, so there's consequence. It's been said that a law without consequences is just simply good advice. You know, so if they say, well, abortion is murder, but then there's no consequence for it. Like there's currently no, as far as I know, unless there's been some updating, there's been no capital punishment for abortion in the United States yet. In some places there is, but not in the United States. I think it should be that way.
So
It should be.
What makes it not a sin to kill someone for capital punishment?
Well, again, going back to our standard of truth, God says, if you read, that's right, have you read any of the Old Testament?
No, my parents, they're technically Catholic, but they never like took me to like church. Or
Okay, just didn't really teach you. Yeah. Well, in the book of Genesis, you remember the Noahic flood. Noah had the flood, and then all the waters receded, and they got out, and they got onto the land and everything. And just after that, he talks about if a man's blood is shed, by his own blood his blood shall be taken. So, in other words, capital punishment was reinforced there. You have a question about the sign? Oh, okay. Well, open to have a conversation, but no, yeah, it's reinforced because it's in the Levitical laws about
You guys should follow
murder,
your suits for choice.
about murdering somebody, or even like hitting a pregnant woman and the baby dies. That person is to be put to death, because you've murdered a baby. And so he reinstates that after the flood, or not reinstates it, but reinforces it. So yeah, capital punishment. So it's totally different from somebody going out and murdering somebody. So you just went down the street and randomly shot a student in the head and killed him, and your life should be taken. Granted, they should have a fair trial. That's part of our justice system, and that goes back to Judeo Christian principles too. There's always there's details in the Bible on how to have a fair trial. Witnesses and all that stuff is all from the Bible. So it's just not just random, because there were times, especially in the old West here in America, where somebody said, "Oh yeah, Joey killed my brother," and so they go, "Oh, they get a posse and a lynch mob." Yeah, kind of that type thing. And they go, "Oh, well, let's go get that guy. He killed Billy's brother," and then they hang him. And no trial. They just go hang him. And then they find out, oh, it was Steve. He was the one that killed Billy's brother. Oh, well, let's go get him now. So they just killed it. They just murdered somebody because they did it illegally. So there's that. And even now we have an imperfect system where there's corruption. You get judges that get bribed. Like an instance of it's been a number of years ago, but a guy was robbing a house, and he broke through the skylight and he broke his back. He was breaking into the house, and he won the case. He sued the homeowners and won the case. I mean, does that sound right?
Well, I don't know
Crazy.
anything about the case, but
Well, yeah, if you just heard it from and there wasn't a whole lot of detail to it.
You want to back up and keep an eye on that? I'm going to go preach over here.
Oh, okay, sure, yeah. I'm just gonna move over here a little bit. Just kind of watch your signs there. So there we go. Yeah.